Good morning, everybody. Long time no see. It has been a very long time, I think, since I posted because things got extremely busy and a lot of stuff has been going on. So, it's been very crazy. But everybody is okay now. We had some issues happening, amongst other things, in normal, everyday life shenanigans. We also had some more issues on the health front with some of the cats. It started, I guess it was, a week ago now? A little over a week ago. That Chunk surprised the absolute hell out of me and scared the absolute hell out of me. It was actually a week ago, yeah. We were napping here in the living room, and he got off of my lap, and he dropped onto his side, and he went into a seizure. Scared the absolute hell out of me. I've never seen a cat have a seizure before, but he had one. So it only lasted about 10-15 seconds, and then he came out of it, and he looked a little confused for a few seconds, and then he went around acting like normal, like nothing ever happened. He just went back to eating and drinking, and then looked out the window at the leaves, and I was like, okay, excuse me, sir. Can we talk about what the hell just happened? Because he literally went like grand mal right in front of me. So, needless to say, we've been at the vet this week, and we did all kinds of tests, and the good thing is, or the puzzling thing is, but I guess it's good, is all of his blood work is normal. So there's nothing majorly showing up as kidney problems or liver problems or anything like that. The only thing that we did find was that he did have a fever. He was running a fever of 104, which is high, but usually not high enough to trigger seizures in cats. Usually, from what the vet said anyway, they don't start having that kind of reaction to a fever until it's like super high, like 106, that kind of thing. But nonetheless, he did have a fever. So Chunk, if you guys remember, in addition to his nasal problems that he has a history of bladder infections and UTI situations. He used to get them a lot when he was a baby. And so they tried to collect a urine sample. They gave him some fluids, and he stayed at the vet all day long. He was admitted to the hospital. He spent the whole day in the animal hospital, and they had him on observation, and they were trying to collect a urine sample, and that didn't work. Hang on just a second. Okay, sorry, I had to go fix something. So yes, he had a fever of 104, which is high, but it's not usually high enough to make seizures. But since he had a history of bladder problems, bladder infections, and UTIs, and then the constant thing with his eyes, or the eye on one side anyway, they went ahead and just put him on some antibiotics, and we're going to see if that does the trick. So he had the one seizure, and then the doctor appointment I got, on the way to the doctor appointment, he had a second seizure. When I was going, oh look, there's Miss Phoebe, who just popped up in the window. I was on my way to the vet, and the cat carrier started like vibrating, and I was like, the hell? So I had to pull over, and I looked in the back, and he was in the middle of a seizure again. So the only thing we found after him spending all day in the hospital was that he had a fever, and they tried to collect a urine sample to see if it was in fact another bladder infection. But of course, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So they gave him some fluids, and they put him in there with a litter box, and waited all day, and he wouldn't pee. which is typical with cats. They get nervous, they hold everything, right? So he wouldn't pee, so they were going to go ahead and try to just take the sample with like I guess a needle, kind of. They do that to try to collect something. And the doctor said he went and got all the stuff and then came back and couldn't feel his bladder anymore. His bladder that was huge a few minutes ago was suddenly small. So he was like, where did he do it? And apparently he peed in the towel or blanket, whatever it was they had him laying on in the hospital cage. So because he soaked that with pee, unfortunately they can't use that as a sample, because even though the towel was clean, it still got other, the detergent that you washed it in, so all that'll contaminate a sample. You can't use a urine sample that got soaked into anything, because you're not going to get true readings. So poor Chunk, all day long in the hospital under observation and all that, and then he wound up peeing on the towel, and they couldn't get a urine sample after all. But they did note, at least, even though they couldn't test it, that it smelled funky. So we are guessing that it was a bladder infection. And that the fever may be what triggered the seizures. We are hoping that he does not wind up having more on a regular basis. Because if he does, then that's going to be a bigger issue. So I'm like, everybody out there, say a prayer that it was just the fever that was causing it. And then we'll have to keep an eye on him, because Lord knows the last thing I need is a cat with epilepsy, right? It's possible. It's not common. It happens way more often in dogs than it does in cats. And usually, if a cat actually has some form of epilepsy, from what I understand, it's usually because there's some kind of a brain injury present. Either there is a tumor or some kind of brain damage, which, I know it's mean, but we did always joke that Chunk was brain damaged, because when he was little, he was a klutz, and he had a lot of issues. And his parents literally were brother and sister, so that's another thing that's kind of going against him. Lord bless him. But so far, so good. Knock on wood. He's been on his medicine for, this is day 5 now, that he takes his antibiotics. And he was always acting fine. He was never acting like anything was wrong, except for having the seizure, So, but he's been acting normal. He's taking his medicine like a good boy. So, we go back after Thanksgiving, and he has another checkup just to see how things are going. And we'll see what we can figure out from there. But at least the first round of blood work and testing showed everything normal. So there's nothing that popped up that would very obviously trigger seizures. So the 2 options we pretty much have left are either it was the bladder infection and the high fever that set it off, or he does have some kind of a brain damage or some kind of an issue going on that's going to lead to epilepsy, which I'm hoping is not the case, because I have no idea how expensive that would be and whether or not I could do that. And then it also brings into question quality of life. I know animals can survive many years and be very happy on medication for that kind of stuff, and that's fine. And if that's the case, then I'll be happy to try it. But if it gets to the point in the future that, quality of life becomes horrible, then, that's not something I would allow to go on. So, but hopefully we won't have to deal with any of that, and everybody will be okay. So that's Miss K-Tay there sleeping on the cube, and then that is actually Daisy behind her, not Chunk. That's Miss Lucy standing up in there looking out the window. And that's Sylvester in the window. And outside on the front porch, Maggie and Phoebe went outside this morning. And they're resting. And I don't know, speaking of Chunk, I don't know where he is. I think he is hiding under the, one of his new sleeping spots he likes to be in the morning. Is underneath the recliner. For some reason, he tends to like to be there. Or he'll go in the spare room in one of the kitty trees there. So, I don't see him in his usual spot. I see Miss Daisy. Miss Daisy. That's Miss Daisy's tail. Hanging out. Oops, sorry, somebody barfed up a hairball. I didn't see that till just then. What you doing, Miss Daisy? So, we'll see. And I think that's Miss Phoebe. Finny, looking at the back window. And my finger keeps sticking in the way. And then Marigold, you could see her shadow by the Chewy box. I think she's looking out the window. Let me see if I can get up without sliding too far forward and bothering Miss Daisy, because Miss Daisy is in this thing she likes to do where she goes underneath the edge of the blanket that's hanging down. And she likes to sleep in that. Yeah, that's Finny. It's my foo-foo Finny. And there's Miss Lucy and Miss Marigold. Oh no, that's Finny. So if that's Finny, who goes there? Oh, that's Will. I'm sorry, Will. I didn't get a good enough look at you. I'm looking through the camera, not through the... Hi, Miss Lucy. How are you? You're so cute. She's such a good girl, too. And there's Foo-Foo Finny. My beautiful baby. She's taking a sun bath. Yeah, you guys seen Mr. Chunk? You guys destroyed my recliner now. Yeah, where did Mr. Chunky Monkey go, huh? Where'd he go, Miss Daisy? Where'd he go, Miss Daisy? Mm-hmm. Daisy said it wasn't my turn to watch him, Mom. I don't know where he went. We'll take a quick walk down the hall. Yeah, she's gonna help us look. Good girl. I don't see him in here. Nope. Say no Chunky Monkey here. Just the hole you guys ripped in the wall. And I got one of those Breeze litter boxes, which is what you guys see in the white and green in the middle there. To try to see if I could stop Marigold from peeing on everything, because she seems to not like the litter on her paws. So I'm trying to give her something else to try, and it was working great. And then my other dingleberry cats here started eating, or trying to eat, the pellets. So, here's the room. And the towels that are lining the bed to catch all the cat hair, and also the peeing, which hasn't happened in a while now. Let me clear up this here. I was just looking to see if Chunk was there. And he is not. Which it's been a couple of weeks now, so I think we're good. But for a while there, Marigold was obsessed with peeing on my bed. So, I wound up lining the whole thing in, well, there's Miss Phoebe out the window. I wound up lining the whole thing in, go put this bowl on the countertop here. Lining the whole thing in towels, just because it was easier if she didn't, like, empty her bladder kind of pee. It was just piddle marking territory, I guess. Because you poor dear need to get spayed. And every single time I save up money to get you spayed, somebody else gets sick. Right. First it was Willow's kidney problems, then it was Alex and his dental surgery, now Chunk is having seizures. Right, Miss Daisy? See, the shenanigans never ends. Eventually, we will have the money saved up once again to get you spayed, so that you'll stop piddling on things. Yeah, so that's why I have all those hair-covered towels lining my bed. She doesn't do it when I'm sleeping in it, so I take them off at night. But if I'm not there, and I don't watch her, and I don't have those towels on the bed, she will pee on it. And it's just easier to take a towel up and wash it than to take the whole bed apart. So, yes, I don't know where Mr. Chunk is. He must be in his favorite daytime sleeping spot, which is either two spots he has during the daytime that are his favorite. One is under the recliner, which might be where he is at the moment, and two is under the bed. So he's probably in one of those two places, but I just saw him shortly before I started recording, so I know he's okay wherever he is. But that is the fun that we've been having lately. So that's the most scared I have been in a long time. I never saw a cat have a seizure before, and it's very alarming when it happens. Very alarming. Poor kid. So at least we know, though, through the blood work, that there was no signs of anything horribly wrong. So everybody out there, just say a prayer to whatever higher power you believe in, to that it was just the fever and the potential bladder infection that triggered it, that set it off, and that he's not got any bigger problems happening. Of course, if he has another one, now that we know the infection is being cleared up by the antibiotic, heaven forbid he has another one, then it's going to be a lot more tests. Then we're going to be probably involved in a specialist. I might have to go a few hours away to a neurologist or something to explore if it starts happening on a regular basis, to find out what's causing it. So we're hoping it doesn't come to that, because that sounds expensive. And I love him, but I only have so much spare money at my disposal. So we'll see. And then, yeah, on the other front, the Breeze litter box, I did like it. I was very impressed by it. It cut down on the smell. The pellets were great. They're like these clay pellets. And then it has a tray underneath it that's like super absorbent. That for one cat, they say you change it once a week. I change it every couple of days, every few days, because I've got, so many. But I think only one or two of them are actually using it. But I was disappointed because I did see, well, somebody's playing in the cardboard box over there. I did see Marigold use it, so I was so excited. And then I came later and I saw Daisy trying to eat the pellets. And I'm like, okay, that's not good. There's a difference between non-toxic and eating the pellets. Like, non-toxic is good, but you're still not supposed to chew them up and eat them. So, fortunately, I don't think she swallowed any of it. I just saw her put it in her mouth, and I yelled, and she spit it out and ran. So, you doofus. Ignoramus. So we're going to try to use it just as it is, with just the plastic and the liner underneath, and hopefully that'll be good enough. And they'll still use it to pee in instead of everywhere else. Yeah, but I'm lucky. They're at least keeping it to the puppy pads, so we've made a lot of progress with that. So at least they're keeping it on the puppy pads, and I've found that if I create more, like the chewy boxes that are left over, I line them with a couple of puppy pads and I put it in there, and she tends to gravitate towards that kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, as long as I provide the puppy pads in certain places, it seems like that makes Marigold happy enough to where they stop, and she stops peeing down the heat vent and trying to pee in other places, like on my bed, in my chair, and that type of thing. So here's hoping we've reached a compromise now, at least. But everybody else is good. Alex is fantastic now. He finished his azithromycin antibiotic, and he did wonderful on it. It was fantastic. So he seems to be in perfect shape now. So he's over that hurdle. Now we just got to get Chunk better. And then we can go back to our normal routines of the spaying and the neutering. Finishing that up. There's only 3 left that need to be spayed, but all the boys are neutered, so we're good. And then we'll go from there. So I know this week coming is going to be absolutely crazy insane at work. It's gotten so busy that I haven't had time to do much of anything else except go to work, go to the store, and go to the vet. That's pretty much all I've been doing for the past month. It's work, store, vet. That's pretty much it. That's been my life. So it's been very crazy. But it's all going to be okay. So, at any rate, I just wanted to give you guys an update. And sorry it's been forever. For those of you that do like to watch on a regular basis, you know I don't really have any kind of schedule. I just upload it when I can. I do this for my friends, really, that want to know what's going on with the cats. But it turned out that some of you guys out there subscribed and wanted to listen too, and that was very nice of you, and I appreciate that. But yeah, I have no real schedule. It's just whenever real life allows me to post, I will post. And that's just how it is. Right, guys? Right, Mr. Alex? You found your sunspot now? You gonna sleep? After you finish your bath? We can put Mr. Sylvester's litter box on the countertop, which is something I am not fond of, but it's a good compromise. I just take it down during the mornings and the evenings, obviously, when I'm cooking dinner or doing something. I don't want it anywhere near the countertop, but Sylvester and Gus are still at odds. And many times Sylvester will not come down off the countertop if Gus is awake and out. And the compromise I came up with, because I got tired of cleaning up poop and pee off the countertop, is I put that tiny little litter box on the countertop. And Sylvester at least uses that. So he goes in that. He's happy. It's easier for me to clean up. And then in the morning when I'm making breakfast on the weekends, and at night when I'm cooking dinner, I just remove it and I disinfect the countertop with some Clorox. And then I make dinner, do whatever I gotta do, and then before I go to bed, I put it back up there, and then it's there. That's Alex tearing apart. He loves to tear apart cardboard. It's one of his favorite things to do. So, well, there's Miss Phoebe. I think Miss Phoebe wants to come in for second breakfast. That's the third time she's popped up there, so when she does it that many times, that's usually her signal to she wants to come in and get some dry food. So I am going to go ahead and sign off now and go let her in so she can have second breakfast. And we will talk to you guys soon, and hopefully I'll have an update in a couple of weeks about Chunk and how he's doing. All right, I hope all you guys have a very happy Thanksgiving for those that celebrate it. And you guys take care of yourselves. Be good to each other, okay? All right, bye-bye.